In this tutorial, we are going to talk about preparing your scene for VR viewing and how to benefit from the SimLab Composer tools to further improve the VR experience. This is a small apartment design that was created in SketchUp and imported to SimLab Composer. Click on the workbench icon and switch to the Virtual Reality workbench. Click on Start Position. Start Position will load a human 3D model into the scene. Click anywhere on the ground to place the human model. The human model is a representative of the camera in the VR experience. Therefore, placing it somewhere specific in a certain angle will determine the starting camera in the VR session. Click on Environment from the Object Tree panel to the left to access the sun lighting system. Adjust the angle of the light, making sure that the sun rays pass through the window and into the room. You can also adjust the sky strength, which would control the overall ambient brightness, as well as the sun strength, which would modify the brightness of the sun rays projected from the sun. From the Launch Viewer menu, select Start Desktop Viewer. The desktop viewer allows you to run the scene in desktop mode, where you can test out the scene and prepare for VR viewing. It can also serve as an alternate viewer for the scene in case you do not have an HTC VR kit. Use the mouse and the arrows on your keyboard to navigate the scene. Press Escape on your keyboard to exit the desktop viewer and go back to SimLab Composer. You can now begin adjusting materials in the scene. You can either modify existing materials or apply new materials from the SimLab Composer library. An additional essential feature that SimLab Composer offers is creating animation sequences. Click on the Animation tab in the bottom panel to access the timeline. Set the current frame in the timeline to frame 15 and rotate the cabinet's door as if it is opened wide. You will notice that SimLab Composer has automatically created 2 keyframes, denoting the animation between the closed and open state of the cabinet's door. Select the created keyframe and click on Create an Animation Sequence. Type in the name for the sequence and toggle the Create Reverse option. The reverse option will create an additional sequence for the animation playing, from the last keyframe backwards to the first one. You can also toggle the Delete Keyframes from Timeline to clean the timeline once the sequences are created. Click OK to create the animation sequences. To attach the created sequence to the cabinet, click on the cabinet and in the Object tab, set the action type to Multi-Action. Make sure that the action's frequency is set to Loop and click on Actions List. Click on the Add Action icon and set the new actions type to Play Sequence. Notice that the bottom panel automatically switched to the Sequences tab, which would ease the process of connecting the sequences. Click on the first sequence to attach it to this action, then click OK. Add another action and set it to play sequence as well, but this time attach the reverse version of the animation sequence. Start the desktop viewer. Click and hold the left click on the mouse. Notice that a white pointer appeared in the middle of the screen, and that the cabinet door is outlined in blue, indicating that it is an interactive object. Aim the white pointer at the outlined object by moving the mouse towards it, and once the object is highlighted in yellow, release the left click to play the first animation sequence. Point and click again at the cabinet's door to play the reversed version of the animation, which would close the cabinet's door. Press Escape on the keyboard to return to SimLab Composer. Select both couches in the scene, and from the Scene States menu, select Capture. Disable all the attributes in the Scene States dialog except for the Material attribute, and click on Capture from Selection. Change the couch's material by applying a different material from the library onto the couches. With the couches selected, click on Capture from Selection in the Scene State Creation window. Switch to the Scene States tab where all the created scene states will be saved and displayed. To apply the scene states, simply drag the scene state to the 3D area. Now that we have created two options for the couch's material, you can rename the created scene states from the Scene States attributes to the right. To attach the scene states as action to the couches, select the parent that includes both objects within it, and set the action type in the Objects Attribute tab to the right to Multi-Actions. Click on the action list, and then on the Add Action icon. Set the action type to Scene State, and click on the Scene State library. Add another Scene State action, and link the second scene state. From the Launch Viewer menu, select Start Desktop Viewer. Click and hold the left click on the mouse. Aim the white pointer at the couches and release to apply the attached scene states. The ever-evolving SimLab VR technology can transform your 3D presentation to an interactive experience. Aided by the powerful features in SimLab Composer, creating an amazing VR environment is just a few clicks away.